Good morning. Happy Wednesday, you all. How's everybody doing today? Today, we are in a Mercury retrograde. We just really completed our 6-month eclipse season. And I just am so motivated. First of all, good morning. Good morning. I love that I have this beautiful cactus, and it has these blossoms coming on it now, and that is so pretty. I am well. I'm feeling pretty good. I also am feeling I'm very aware of all the changes that are happening energetically at the energetic level, and I'm aware of things that are going on in our world, and I am having a lot of shifts internally, and I really wanted to come and talk about it. So there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. So Mercury is in retrograde in Taurus, and Mercury retrograde in Taurus is an energy that is asking us to reprogram. Whenever we have a Mercury retrograde, I'm sorry, let me get myself together. So I can sit down. Okay. Whenever we have a Mercury retrograde, it's time for it's an update energy is what it is. It's just like when we update our cell phones, you get that notification that says the new iOS whatever is available. That's the same thing that's true for Mercury retrograde and eclipses and things like that. And so what we're doing is we're updating our own system. And the reason that our system is being updated is because we're evolving as human beings. We're evolving in our experience as being humans on the earth. And it literally is changing. Like, we're changing out of one way of being and moving into a new way of being. And it's a pretty significant shift, but the universe is so gentle. It does everything subtly and softly. And if you follow the retrogrades, we have 3 a year, if you follow them, if you honor them, if you ritualize them, if you honor what's being asked of you, then like a tree that drops its leaves and then, begins to sprout new leaves and then has fruit and then you will be able to have that kind of experience. But as human beings, we're so generally disconnected from nature that we're not synergetically tapped into the natural shedding and releasing and building and collapsing that is always going on within our own psyches, because we're on somebody else's clock. We're on this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday workday clock. We're, working 9 to 5, all that kind of stuff. All of that stuff disrupts your natural rhythms. Your natural rhythms gets disrupted, and it commandeers your power and your energy into systems and ways of being that are not necessarily true to you. Now, this is because we only know the world that we were born into, because it's almost impossible to think of a world that's not the one that you were born into. Even if you read about other cultures, those other cultures will seem so foreign to you because we are deeply conditioned and indoctrinated into the world that we are born into. So for me personally, like as an American woman, as a woman born in America, in a Black person's body, in this cultural experience of this American thing, that has deeply influenced and conditioned my way of thinking and being and moving through the world. And so when retrogrades and things like that come, I get to look at, okay, how am I relating to Mercury's in retrograde in Taurus right now? How am I relating to money? What is my understanding of my own value? How am I sharing my energy with others? How am I restoring myself? What's my relationship to pleasure? All this is Mercury retrograde and Taurus stuff. And we have the opportunity to look at how we've been functioning in it and then move into something different. And it's a must that you do it. Like, because when you don't, your relationships start to break down, your body starts to break down, you start to become anxious and depressed and sad because you're holding on to old things that no longer serve you. That's the only reason why. And so with Mercury retrograde in Taurus, we get to look at and reprogram our own system around value. Like I said, it's like when your phone gets an update and you update to the next iOS system. The same is true for your psyche. The same is true. And we use the retrogrades and the ritual practices to do this. So it's really interesting. One of the things that I've been noticing in my own body and in my own system, because Taurus rules our central nature, the beginning of our sexual nature. The central nature is your taste, touch, right? Like if you rub your fingers together like this, you can likely feel the energy of that. You can feel the touch of your skin, right? When you breathe, you can feel the air, you can see. All those are senses. That's a program that's running you. Your eyes are programmed to sense a certain way, to see a certain way. Your skin is programmed to feel a certain way. All of these are programs, and all of this stuff can be and must be updated because we're shifting out of the age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. And so what does that look like practically? It's like maybe you used to be really close to somebody and you guys really got along well based upon like maybe you guys like the same kind of music. And then all of a sudden you don't feel connected to that person anymore. You're not feeling, your energy's starting to change. That music doesn't work for you that much anymore. And something else is coming through as the old thing is going away. But that relationship that was based in that love of that music will begin to deteriorate because you are changing. And what happens is we'll tell ourselves like, oh, they're getting on my nerves, or they're a hater. No, it really is just a different energetic shift that's happening. The affinity, the codes that once matched, maybe you like that music because your father introduced you to it, and maybe they like that music because one of their ex-boyfriends introduced them to it. So you guys had that thing in common, but then those energies start to deteriorate because we're always changing, and then that relationship begins to shift. And it's okay. And the work that we're doing right now is really letting go of our old realities. And because we had the eclipses in Scorpio that happened for the last 18 months. The next eclipse season is about to move through Libra and Aries, y'all. So this means our personal one-to-one relationships are going to start changing because we are changing. We are going to be updating who we really are. What do you really believe in? What do you really think? Are these relationships, what are they serving you? What do you bring to the relationship? What are you getting back from the relationship? Many people have relationships that are based on codependence because somebody makes you feel good about yourself because you don't know how to make yourself feel good about yourself. Somebody makes you feel loved because you don't know how to love yourself. All those relationships are going to be shifting and ending because you have to come into congruence, because when these nodes shift and move into Libra, which they're going to do in the next several weeks, Libra is about your relationship. They call it the house of marriage and partnership. And it is, because it's about how you show up, and then how you bring yourself into a relationship with another. But Libra is the mirror, you all. So everybody in your life is a mirror somehow. They're mirroring some aspect of you to yourself, whether you love it or not. So when I've had relationships with people that are really challenging, like, I've had numbers of relationships. I have a marriage that ended. That relationship has been very challenging for me in my life because I've had to look at how I'm interpreting his behavior and the stories that I'm telling myself about it. Like, oh, he did this and he did that. And recognizing that's my pattern. That is my pattern. I'm projecting, I'm mirroring. My story of him is the story that I really have of my father. The story that I have of my father is the story that my grandmother had of her husband. The story, like this stuff is genetically coded in our systems. And if you don't take the time and the responsibility to make yourself new, you begin to repeat the cycles of your ancestors. And maybe that's great, but because we're moving into the age of Aquarius, it's not, because we're moving into a new age entirely. So we're not here to reproduce the old reality any longer. And the old reality has to die in you, and the new reality has to be born within you. And then be expressed externally. And how do you do that? By changing who you are, the way you see the world. It's not changing. It's you change your perception. Your perception can be shifted out. I'm going to move this software and put in another one. Oh, I used to believe that I needed a man to feel safe in the world. Now I believe that I am my own safety and security. And guess what? Then the universe responds to that. So now that I'm no longer believing that I need a man to be safe and secure in the world, and I believe that I'm safe and secure from within myself, doing the root chakra work, doing the rituals and practices to get myself to embody that, then that's my experience, because the universe is going to read my codes. Oh, she's safe and secure inside of herself. And then every experience I have reflects to me that I'm safe and secure, because that is how it is. You have to create the codes inside of yourself to then produce that reality, because that is the age of Aquarius, and you must be true to your own authentic ways of being. She said, I thought we were already in the age of Aquarius. Well, let me just say this. The universe is an ebb and a flow experience. Some of us are in the age of Aquarius, but the age of Aquarius, it takes thousands of years for these ages to come in, hundreds of, you know what I mean? Like, it's a process, it's a journey. Just like day doesn't turn into night in a blink, night goes slowly out, and then day starts to come in slow. It is a process of this, right? So some of us are in the age of Aquarius, but some of us are not. Some of us are still in the age of Pisces, because it is a process of evolving. And so it's literally like the earth has to be completely consumed by this new energy. And so right now, the earth is becoming more consumed with that energy of the age of Aquarius, but it's not totally consumed with it. And so like I said, it's a process and a journey. So we won't fully be completely into the age of Aquarius. It's going to be another 150 to 300 years before we're fully there. But these ages last 24,000 years, 2,000 years. So what's 300 years compared to 24,000 years? A blink. It's 2 days. You know what I'm saying? So that's why our mindsets are conditioned by time and the calendar that we've been given by white supremacy. So we are out of touch with how we're meant to function, how we're meant to be in the world, and not even understanding how reality really works. It's a very interesting kind of experience. Okay. So I wanted to talk about some things that I'm experiencing right now that are really interesting. Anybody watching Bridgerton? Is it Bridgerton? And what's it called? Queen Charlotte. Wow, this is really blowing my mind, because I do a lot of work around anchoring into royalty and what it really means to carry the true royal DNA. And that's not the way that we see it around England and all that sort of stuff, because royalty doesn't need to dominate other humans. That's not what royalty is. Like what we see happening in England, that's not royalty. That's for lack of a better word, I would say that's demonic. Because whenever you're worshiping another person, whenever you're pedestaling a human being above you, you are casting your power. That's evil. You don't want to give your power to another person. You don't want to give your power to a king, a queen. You don't want to give your power to your parents. You don't want to give your power to Jesus Christ. You don't want to do that. So what they're doing is not real royalty. It's something else that is not real. But But the point of that I want to make is that we're coming into a time now where we all have to understand the royal nature in our own energy, our connection to the divine, our connection to the cosmos, our connection to the earth. And that is royalty when we understand who we really serve. What? Right? And who you really serve is the divinity within you. You are in service to the divine nature within you. It's not an external thing. But this Queen Charlotte thing has been really, it's been profound to me, because there are pictures of this Queen Charlotte all over Los Angeles. I live in LA, and there are pictures of her all over LA with this big afro, and I mean, it's just beautiful. And it's like I'm releasing all sorts of shame. And like when I see it, she's so magnificent. All of a sudden, I feel sorry for white people. It's really weird. It's not like all white people. I feel sorry for those that believe that believe in white supremacy. That's what I'll say. I'm like, oh wow, when I see the beauty of this black woman and her elegance and her power, I feel sorry for those people that are pretending to be royal and sucking power and vampire. And I'm like, wow, because they could never touch this. They could never anchor into this kind of elegance, beauty, majesty, because it's divine. It's mysterious. And when I see the pictures, I can see the whole universe in this woman's face. It's really having an amazing effect on me. It's having an amazing effect on me. And I'm slightly embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're so profound. And she's a lighter skinned black woman, but her features are black, right? And that big old afro. And I'm just like, well, it almost makes me drunk a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's overwhelming. What kind of experience are you guys having with it? So I wanted to talk about that and how profound that is. And then I wanted to talk about the experience of reparations. California, I'm from California. I've been here all my life. And California has just approved giving what they call in qualifying black folks $1.2 million. And so I haven't done any research in it. I'm not really thinking about it, but I'm aware of it. And because I've been studying being black in this country my entire life. It's been the most captivating experience that I have had as a human being a black person in this country. And as I have studied over the years, what I came to realize was that being a black person in the diaspora is a profound gift. It is a gift of power that when you are able to embrace it and not victimize yourself or not allow yourself to be a victim, the power that will show up in your reality is unmatched because of the level of betrayal, trauma that we have endured. But when we can turn in and look at that betrayal and trauma and racism and alchemize it, when we can alchemize it, it becomes incredible power. And that is the reason that I know that I have been through that experience through my family, that I have been through the experience of racism and all, so that I could learn to alchemize my energy, my power, and make myself into what I'm meant to be. But I've had to take responsibility for everything. I had to really stop calling white people's names in any experience. And I had to look at it in every single way. I had to reprogram my whole entire system around what it means to be a black person, a black woman, and what it means to be in this country, in America. And what I have discovered through doing ancestral work, through doing inner child work, through understanding my natal chart, my astrology, through practicing rituals, that this energy within us is extraordinarily resilient. It is durable. It is enduring. It is power that is untapped. And when we are willing to look and stop making it be anybody else's anything, not to say that you have to deny your feelings, because you cannot deny your feelings. It is not possible to deny your feelings. So you have to process your stories, your feelings. I had to process all my father's rage about white people, and the fact that I had a grandmother that was the result of being one of my great grandmothers being raped by a white man. I had to process every bit of it. I couldn't walk away from any of it. But I looked at it and I said, what is this for me? And when I did that, magic started to happen. And there have been times when it has been incredibly painful, agonizing, disruptive, heartbreaking, destroying. But every time I'm willing, then I rebirth. I come right back as something that I need to be. And what's happening now, it's almost like I've been burning off so much of that old residue. My life is becoming really fast. And this is the power of the Age of Aquarius. It's like I freed myself from those collective constructs of white people are this or black people are this. I got freed myself by looking at it and saying, this is who I am. I know what they say, but this is who I say I am. And as I do that, the universe honors it, but I have to go into the shadow and claim it. I have to fight for it sometime. I have to die. Okay. I'm telling you, it's not easy, but it is rewarding. So as they're having this conversation about reparations, I want to say that this country is in debt to black people. They're not doing us any favors at all. So for people who might have, this is not a favor. This is a karmic debt that must be paid in order for this country not to fucking collapse on itself and completely die. Like literally, they're doing what they could have done years ago, but they didn't do it years ago because it would have freed us from. So once this happened, all this, like the prison system is going to have to go away. All these systems are going to have to collapse because all these systems are based on racism. So when they start paying black people money because of these racist tactics, these systems will deteriorate damn near instantaneously. So the whole reality is going away because black people built this entire reality. That's what we have to understand. So everything in the universe has to be reconciled. Everything has a cause and effect. Everything is karma. Every thought that you're having right now is karma, is cause and effect. Everything, right? So when we begin, they have to reconcile it in order for them to continue to be able to exist. Because if they don't, the whole system is going to start going down the drain. And so now they have to start giving, they have to start acknowledging, right? They have to start saying that they see it, because what they've been doing is denying it. They've been gaslighting. That's not really happening. That's not right. But now there's no more of that. So they have to start paying the debt. And it's the original debt. It's the original debt for 250 years of free labor, and then another 150 years of free energy, like through all of these systems that have been draining our power. But then the systems won't be reliant upon us any longer. So new systems will have to be built because it's a different thing that's happening right now. So I just think it's really important for us, for me as a person in a black person's body, I just decided that I was going to start doing my own cleaning and reorganizing my codes, that I wasn't going to wait on them. I wasn't going to wait on anybody to acknowledge it. I didn't need to do that because I know what I have been through. I know what my family has been through. I don't need to wait on this system to acknowledge it. And so because I am acknowledging it, the universe has started acknowledging it more and more and more. And so I'm watching myself get free from family trauma, generational patterns and codes. Like my family was There used to be so much addiction and relationship pain because the feminine has been deeply oppressed in our culture. For black people, for white people, the feminine has been pushed down. And the feminine is our imagination, it's our intuition, it's our psychic abilities. I talk to clients every day who are coming online, like they're literally, their intuition is coming on board. Their gifts are starting to come alive. Their relationships are falling apart because their energies are so intertwined in ways that don't really work for them being who they're meant to be. And because this system is changing, like I was saying earlier, we must all renew ourselves. And as we do that, the universe will meet you in kind. The universe is excited to meet you there. So as there all this fear stuff and the economy, pay no attention to any of that. In the age of Aquarius, your currency, your economy is your consciousness. Your currency, your value, your economy is your consciousness. It's your understanding that you are one with all things. It's your understanding that you can create the reality that you desire based upon what you are meant to be and do. And if you are just pursuing it, you don't have to know like you know. Like I said, the universe is generous and it is a process. So the work that I'm doing now, I started doing when I was in my 20s. And I didn't really know, but I knew that I was a messenger. I knew that I was here to bring forth the Christ consciousness in a way that it hadn't been. And I knew that I wasn't going to do it through Christian dogma. I knew that that was not my platform and that I needed a new way to speak to the people so that the people could understand what I was saying, but it wasn't couched in patriarchal belief systems. And that's why then God, the God in me, sent astrology to me. And so this is the way that I'm able to communicate my own evolution, my own experience, with the hopes of activating you into yours. So my next moon class begins on the 12th. Today is the 9th. You can register for the next class. We're going to be doing the new moon in Taurus, which is to recode your wealth codes. The new moon in Taurus, recoding your wealth codes. And when the new moon moves through Taurus, we get to reconfigure our understanding of our value. So your value is the way you speak to yourself. It's the things you're saying to yourself that you don't even realize. So in this class, we'll do the rituals and the practices to recode our value, the way we speak to ourselves, because that is what's creating your reality. Your inner voice, your subconscious nudgings, your internal, that's what's creating your reality. So in this class, we're going to recode all of that. So that class starts on the 12th. You guys can start joining now. You can go into my profile link and you'll see the 13 moons, it's what it's called. The class for 1 month is $111. We do the ritual practices. We do the new moon ritual, the full moon ritual, and every moon cycle I come in and give you the rituals to do. So by the end of the cycle, you're in a new way of being. You've done the work to recode yourself. And it's fun work and I love it, and it's magic because my life is about helping people restore the feminine energy, because that's where your magic is accessed. And feminine energy does not mean woman. It means your internal power. Your internal power. It is sometimes more easily accessed by women, but not necessarily so, because most women are in the masculine energy right now. We are focused externally. We're chasing things. We're chasing the bag. Do he have this and do he have that, and does he have this and does he have that? That's masculine. Feminine is knowing that you are sourced in all things, in all ways, living in your power by being in joy and happiness, doing things and being with people that feel good, doing things that feel good in you. And then you become a magnet for all your needs, and it just comes to you, it just falls in your lap. That's the feminine. But the masculine is like, is it this? And nothing is wrong with either. You have to be able to have access to both. But you need to be able to command it. You need to know when you're with whatever, because one thing is always canceling out the other. So that's for sure. So if you want to really begin to learn how to use the moon cycles in service to your power and growth, you can join the 13 moons today. You can also just join Follow the Sun, the community that I have there and where I do my videos and things. I'm always offering rituals, practices, and things to help us grow and come more into our spiritual wisdom. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Have a really beautiful day. Bye-bye.